What's up guys, it's Meg and it's that time of the week for our weekly Walker Tag. We're back here again to review the latest issue of the Walking Dead comic. Today we're reviewing issue number 159. How amazing is this cover? Andrea looks so badass. I love these covers. I love that when you put them all together it's like a panorama view. Friggin' amazing. Amazing artwork. This was a really good issue. I'm really sorry I did not do a review for the last issue or so. Things happen and I read it and then it becomes too late for me to kind of review it. The hype dies down, you know, so I just don't. But I have been loving this Whisperer War. It's so different from All Out War. The whole tone of it is just way different and I love it. I love that it's not repeating the same kind of storylines and it doesn't give you the same feeling as All Out War did. So let's get right into it. Great issue. The issue picks right back up with Negan and Beta battling it out. It's the showdown we've been waiting for. It's the showdown Negan's been waiting for. And they're both, you know, pretty like the same level of fighting here. You know, neither one is really getting, you know, above the other here until Dwight passes off Lucille to Negan. Finally, Negan has Lucille back in his hands. He is so friggin' happy and it is so short-lived, unfortunately. First off, have we ever seen Negan cry before? Because he actually shed some tears. Rip Lucille, rest in peace. Probably the saddest part of the issue. Lucille has been such an icon in this comic for so long. And now she's gone. She's gone and it was heartbreaking. Bet you never thought you would feel sad over a baseball bat, right? Poor Negan, and I never thought I would say poor Negan either, but he got a hold of her and he was using her and he was finally, you know, getting the one up on Beta here. He did some damage to Beta. Not enough to kill him. Unfortunately, Beta got away. He was hauled off by the other Whisperers when the Whisperers retreated. It seemed like we had a victory. It seemed like Dwight had led the group to victory. They defeated the Whisperers at least enough. And then that is also short-lived because right behind them is another group of walkers. Another big Whisperer herd, and obviously Dwight's group does not know whether or not there are Whisperers in there as well, which we find out later that there are. But first, let me backtrack for a minute because those first couple pages, I honestly thought that Jesus had been bit and I thought Negan had been bit. The way that the artwork, the panels is sometimes I look at it and I was like, I was looking at Jesus's arm and it really looked like that walker had like latched on. And then later I realized, okay, that's armor that he's wearing. You know, he has a buffer there from the walker bite. But there was a moment there where I was like, oh my gosh. You know, Jesus, like, no, that would make me so incredibly sad. My mouth was definitely hanging open there for a second until I realized that he hadn't actually been bit. Also, there was a moment where I thought Negan had been bit as well, as Beta is, you know, fleeing as he's being dragged away. I thought Negan had been bit, and I was admittedly sad about that as well. Luckily, no one got bit in this issue. So Dwight has a new plan. His plan is to split up this herd because obviously they don't have very many people left. And his plan is to split up the herd, and then he's like, I have something else, you know, then I have another plan, but he doesn't say anything. And then the end of the issue, he's flipping like putting on a Whisperer mask and outfit, and oh man, it's going down. I love Dwight. And also let me just say, I cannot wait until we get to these scenes with Dwight in the television show. Like, is that not gonna be so amazing? It's hard now watching Dwight and seeing like how he is, and he's still kind of this like bad guy sort of, you know, we've only gotten a brief look at him, but you know, you don't really like him in the show as much if you don't know what's coming. So I almost feel bad for all of the people who are just fans of the television show because they don't know like how amazing Dwight is, you know, and so they're all hating him for Daryl and hating, you know, how he's been. But man, it's hard to hate him for sure, knowing what's coming later in the comics. Okay, moving right along. We also see a really important scene between Lydia and Carl. So, you know, they're up on the wall keeping watch, and Carl seems pretty confident. You know, he doesn't really seem scared of this whisperer. He seems overly confident that, you know, no harm is going to come to their group, like everything's going to be fine. And Lydia, who has come from the whisperers, who lived with the whisperers, knows that they don't care if they die while trying to fulfill their plan. They don't have those feelings, like they are relentless. They will, you know, die in the process of trying to kill you, and they won't stop, you know, basically. And she says that Carl's group has a weakness, and that weakness is that they care. They care about each other, they care about their people, they care about surviving. And I think while she's saying this to him, you know, she's trying to convince him, like, you shouldn't be as confident. Your weakness is that you care for people. And then she's realizing as she's saying this, at least this is how I kind of took the conversation, is that she's realizing that, you know, Carl cares for her too much, and that could put him in danger when the whispers come. And he would be so focused on trying to protect her, because he cares about her, even potentially loves her, that he would put himself at risk. And so she says, I don't love you. And I think it kind of takes Carl aback, you know, I don't think he's expecting her to say that. And he tries to convince her, no, you're just saying that because, you know, because of basically what I just told you. And she's like standing her ground, no, I don't. We can still hang out, but I don't love you. And then it almost for a second makes you wonder, is she just saying that to put distance between her and Carl, or does she actually mean it? You know, but I really think Carl's right, and she is just trying to protect him by putting distance there. Moving right along, we also see back up at the kingdom, William sets Zachary straight. Now, I don't know much about William. I don't think we've seen him that much. Don't know much about Zachary, but we have seen a few scenes in the past couple issues of them, and they're kind of butting heads on whether or not to help Rick's group. Well, William sets Zachary straight, and he lets him know that he is not to be messed with. And I kind of like how he snuck up behind him during dinner and kind of whipped him back on his chair, like he wanted to scare him and frighten him. And I think he did a pretty good job of it. So I'm really interested to see what kind of ruler William really is there at the kingdom, because all we've ever known is Ezekiel, and then there's been this long time gap where we haven't really seen anything that's been going on up there. So I'm kind of excited to, I want more. I want to know what is really going on up at the kingdom. And we see a lot of little flashes. We see, I think it's Vincent running back, you know, he's on foot. He had his horse taken away by the leftover saviors. What are we calling them? I can't remember now. But the leftover saviors, now that Dwight left their group, they are choosing to not help Rick. And Sherry, of all people, seems like she's kind of the leader there now, which also is super weird. Okay. I think that is it for my review. I love this issue, can't wait to see more. Kind of sad that there's only 6 parts to the Whisperer War, because we are halfway done already. Really, like, scares me, to be honest with you, that we're going to lose some good people here, some good characters, because we haven't really yet. We saw the death of Gabriel. That was actually really sad. Didn't get to comment on that because I didn't do a video for that issue, but wanted to let you guys know that broke my heart. It was so sad, and it was just like in your face, boom, he's dead, started the issue. Okay, move right along. But you know, we haven't seen any big characters die since the Whispers initiated that with like Rosita and Ezekiel and everything. So it is scary knowing that there's only 3 issues left, and that we are going, I mean, there's no doubt about it, we are going to see some deaths here pretty soon. And so every time I read an issue, part of me is just so hesitant to turn the page. I find myself kind of looking at the page and then like skimming really fast And then I say, no, 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 don't do that, you know, and you go back and just read it, just take it all in, don't jump ahead, because part of me wants to flip to the end and find out, you know, if anybody died, but you know, it's scary. So I'm gonna end this review here. Please let me know what you thought about this issue number 159, in the comment section of this video. Let me know what you think is gonna happen in part 4. What are your death predictions here? Let me know all about it, and I will talk to you guys more there. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. See you next time.